Hello, lovely listeners, and welcome to the first ever preamble to an episode of Way Too Broad. I am one of your co-hosts, Hannah, and your friendly neighborhood editor, here to bring you some good news and some bad news. The bad news is that we had some audio gremlins this week, and the majority of Aaron's audio was pretty unlistenable when I went to edit. The good news is that at first we thought we weren't going to have an episode at all, but I did manage to salvage some good bits. So this week's episode is going to be shorter than normal. It's going to be a little bit more choppy than you're used to. In order to help you understand where the time jumps are, I did put a sound effect in. So when you hear a lovely harp glissando, that's a time jump where we had to cut out a lot of Aaron's talking. So it's really unfortunate because Aaron had a lot of good jokes, as she always does, that we had to cut out. And we might end up having to trying to recover some ground that we talked about next week, because we enjoyed recording a lot and she sounded fine and great. But this was not just flippy flappies. You'll hear it a little bit. There are parts where you can hear her talking that I left in short bits, partly for your benefit to understand what I was hearing, and partly because there were some things I just couldn't stand to get rid of. So you'll hear what we were dealing with. I do want to say a couple things for Erin that I was not able to keep. First of all, in case anyone's wondering, because we make a couple references to it later, her topic was she's rewatching all the Harry Potter movies right now. So she went into a lot of detail about that, which I think we'll try to recover because we had a lot of fun talking about it and I had to cut all of it out. I also wanted to let you know what her homework is because I had to cut that out too. So obviously rewatch all the Harry Potter movies. She's going to be finishing them this week, so you still have time to catch up. Also, on Lesbian Movie Reviews, her Instagram account where she reviews lesbian movies, she has her first guest post this week from a friend named Julia. And there will be a couple of additional people who will be posting on Lesbian Movie Reviews, posting their reviews. And also she's on Twitter at EarnBurn. So that's about it. I'll let you get into it, and please enjoy the goofs in chat that we were able to salvage. All right, thanks for understanding, and we'll be back next week with a full episode for you guys. Bye.
Ben, you want a podcast? You want a podcast, Ben?
Hello and welcome to Way Too Broad, a place for friends to talk about things that they're really, really ridiculously excited about. This is a silly Friday edition of Way Too Broad.
Our second.
Yes, our second silly Friday edition.
Not silly Friday like we're releasing it on Friday, which is silly, but we're recording it on Friday, and being
Right.
silly.
Right, it'll still come out at its regularly scheduled date. But just so everybody knows, we are silly and it is Friday.
Woot. And some of us have worked all week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben.
I have not. Classes started this week on Thursday, and I had one class.
All right.
Oh, wow. Holy shit.
Yeah, I have a very loose schedule this semester.
That's nice.
Yeah.
For your last semester of college. Well, for your bachelor degree or whatever.
Well, I only have one class, but it's 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
And it's not a class, it's a job.
And it's a job, and I don't pay for it. They pay me for it.
I have the same setup, Hannah.
That's so weird.
So weird.
What a coincidence.
Wow. Crazy. Oh, you didn't even introduce us. I'm Hannah, and these are my co-hosts.
Do you know what? I forgot to do that last week, too. I'm Hannah.
We didn't notice. Wait. Did you light the podcast candle?
I did.
Well, you didn't last week. That's probably why.
That's probably why.
The juju wasn't there.
Right. So I'm Hannah, and these are my co-hosts, Aaron and Ben.
Hey.
Hi, Aaron.
Hey. Hey.
And hello, Ben.
Hello. We broke podcast etiquette by talking a bunch before we were introduced.
Yeah.
You didn't know who
Actually,
we
all of last episode.
Our listeners didn't know who the fuck we were.
Listen, we're all just people, and that's what's important to remember about podcasters, is that they're also just people.
Just people. Unless there's like a podcast where like somebody is a robot, like they like write out the script in like the computer voice. You know what I mean? You know what I mean.
A person still wrote it.
You're right.
It's great.
It's a great segue into talking about Westworld.
Westworld! Hey! Ben,
So
share
Ben.
your exciting announcement to the class.
Just before we started recording, I just finished Westworld. Kylie and I
Wow.
did. Yeah.
Congratulations.
I have thoughts.
Let's hear it. All right, do these thoughts contain any spoilers?
Oh, man, I don't see how they couldn't.
Okay. Warning.
Well,
spoilers.
actually, all right. Here's one non-spoiler thought, is that I fucking love science fiction. And I also, like, I didn't really think of myself as a person who was into, like, AI and robot storylines. But after reading Prelude to Foundation, which has this really cool robot thing in it, and Isaac Asimov's whole take on robots is really cool, and watching Westworld, I'm digging it more than I used to.
Robots?
Yeah, just like robots and artificial intelligence.
Do you feel like that has something to do with you getting deeper into your engineering degree at all?
No, not really. I mean, it's funny because in the class I took last semester, computer organization, my professor used to like say all the time, like as we were learning how computers actually worked, that it should make us not scared of AI because computers are dumb and only do exactly what we tell them to do. They're dumb but fast. They can just do it like millions of times in a second, but they are still dumb and need like specific instructions. So I guess it helps me to not be scared of this like actually happening in real life. So I guess that's nice.
Cool.
Okay, so you're not just like hedging your bets just in case like the robots ever took over. There will be something on record of you saying, you know, like, I for one welcome our robot overlords, like that kind of thing.
No, I'm not hedging. I refuse to hedge.
That was my immediate assumption.
Let's talk about Westworld.
Yeah.
Can we get into spoilers now? Are we gonna allow ourselves to do that?
Spoiler warning. We're gonna spoil Westworld. Spoiler warning alert.
Did Ford plan every fucking step of everything forever?
I had
Is
some
that
struggles.
where we landed?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Been a while.
But
My memory's kind of stained.
But I remember thinking, like, this guy, like, that was maybe the part I found the least realistic, was how in control he ended up being at the end of it.
Well, because every single twist, it felt like was something Ford had planned and done. You know?
Yeah.
Like, everything that was kind of a mystery at the beginning was, like, all Ford except for the woodcutter thing.
What was the woodcutter?
What was the woodcutter thing?
The host who went missing up on the mountain, and it was transmitting data out of the park.
Oh.
And even that was related to Ford, like that, because it was the board trying to ensure that they didn't lose his IP when he got kicked out.
Right. I don't know. I didn't get that impression when I watched it. Like, every little thing was planned by him from the beginning.
Man, Aaron and I were both, like, so excited to talk about Westworld, And
I
we're
don't
both,
remember
like,
any of it. I didn't watch it too long ago. I have a terrible memory, though.
Oh.
come in.
Come in!
What's this?
Oh, look at that. Hi, Ian.
There you go.
Would you tell your... Ian, I said hi.
Careful,
They say hi.
'cause it's-
What is that?
I'm too full.
Here, tell the microphone what it is.
Tell the microphone what it is.
Yeah. Come on down.
Hi.
Come on.
Hi. It's lime juice and raspberry sorbet and gin that got mixed up together, and then it got put into a cocktail glass, and then I added like a strong ginger beer.
Wow, that sounds good.
What do you call it?
It's I don't know. You should decide.
Okay, we have to name it. Bye.
Bye.
I like how that was all passive. Like, this drink got put together. I don't know how.
It's extremely gingery, this beverage. What's everybody else drinking? We didn't do that.
I have I have a pint of grapefruit juice and gin.
Oh,
Oh, that sounds good.
it's a gin night.
I
Gin.
have gin, but I have no mixers except for milk. But what about that like QA guy? The one the like brown haired dude who went up to the mountains with Elsie, who then at the end got like attacked by savages. Mm-hmm. Why have him killed?
Because he's annoying.
Is he?
I don't know. I'm just losing faith in my own ability to remember things every minute we keep talking about this.
Well, it's also
Yeah.
like extremely fresh in my mind, so
Right.
it's
Okay.
understandable.
So I want to move on to another thing that I'm excited about because I feel that Aaron and I are having trouble contributing to this.
Yeah, that's
I'm
fine.
really sorry, Ben. What a
That's
freaking
fine.
letdown. We just suck. We're like, oh my god, Ben, watch Westworld, and then we're like, we don't remember any of those things. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna have
But they
to-
were all
now-
robots. I definitely remember that they were like all robots.
Definitely robots. I'm gonna I'll tell you what's been helpful about this for me, Ben, is that I know now that I'm gonna have to rewatch the whole season before the next season starts.
Which, from what I hear, is in like April.
Yeah, it's not too far off now.
Yeah.
Which is
Could be
nice.
closer.
That's a nice thing about the way that you did it, Ben. Yeah, but just for me, it was like over a year off before the next season started because I watched it while it was coming out.
Yeah.
So could be worse. Could have been me for the past year. Maybe that's why I forgot all of it.
My
because
fucking
I couldn't
nightmare.
live with it.
Do it to be Hannah.
Yeah.
That is a nightmare.
It's definitely somebody's nightmare. I don't know.
Wow, that's dark.
I think everybody's life is somebody's nightmare.
Yeah.
You both agree to
Whoa.
that? Jesus.
Everybody's
really
life's everybody's nightmare, probably.
Sometimes, yeah, I don't know. Like, there are so many people in this world who are like, oh my god, I could never work in an office all day, 5 days a week, da da da. I'm like, that.
Oh,
So
that's a
my
fair
life
point.
probably would look like a nightmare to them, but I'm perfectly happy with it
Yeah.
most of the time.
Same.
Yeah, I'm one of those people who doesn't think he can do that. But
Well,
we'll see.
you may surprise yourself, but maybe you won't. I think Ian would not thrive in that environment either. So, to each their own. Aaron is up first this week.
I felt like I was first this week. I was like, I feel like it's been like 2 weeks since I was first. So
Hopefully, if I'm doing it right, it's been 2 weeks since you were first.
yeah.
I have two questions, not about you, for you, about Harry Potter related materials.
Okay.
Okay, have you watched Wizard People, Dear Reader on YouTube?
No.
Nor have I.
Okay. You guys know who Brad Neely is? I feel like I might have mentioned him on this podcast before. Ear snap.
Yes, I do, because you showed me him when I was a young boy.
He did, what would you know? Washington. 6 foot.
8'7", fucking killing for fun.
Yeah, okay. He slaves children, but not the British children. So that guy, he's done a bunch of stuff I really love. I really enjoy his like animation style and his sense of humor and his voices and everything.
Did he start on Super Deluxe?
Yeah, that's why we've talked about him before.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually.
And then and then he had a couple shows on Adult Swim or whatever. I don't know. He's been around. I don't know what he's doing these days. But around the time that I was in college, he did. He created something that he called it an audiobook. It was called Wizard People Dear Reader. And what you were supposed to do is take it and play it over the first Harry Potter movie, like you do with the riff tracks, like you're supposed to do.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's so goddamn funny. And somebody took it and like actually just like laid it over perfectly, scene by scene on YouTube. It's probably still there. I'm not sure if it is or not, but it's so funny. He calls what's the one that teaches them to fly? What's her name?
Madam Hooch.
Madam Hooch. He calls her cat face meowmers. Really excellent names for all of the people. And the voice that he narrates the book in is just extremely fun, and so you should seek that out, see if it still exists. Another thing that might also be kind of hard to find these days is there was a like student written musical that was based off of Harry Potter.
Oh.
At first it was called Harry Potter the Musical, and then they had to change it to a Harry Potter musical at a later date.
It's very good.
It's very good. You've seen that, Ben?
Yeah.
It's so funny. I can never see Ron the same way since I saw that, because they portray him as like this. He's the guy that plays him, first of all, is much like bigger and taller than the guy who plays Harry Potter, and he's always eating and carrying food. And it's not like a fat joke thing. It's like this guy's a doofus, and like as the play goes on, the food gets bigger and bigger. Like at one point he just has like a comically large chocolate bar that he's just like hugging like a flotation device. But the music's really good in that too, and that also used to be on YouTube. I'm not sure if it is or not. I'm gonna try to see if I can find these things for you, Aaron.
That would be great.
Ben!
Yeah, I'm next.
You're next. What's your obsession?
My obsession is a new comedy series on Amazon Prime.
Oh.
It just recently won 2 Golden Globes. One for the best comedy or musical series, and one for the best leading actress in I think best leading actress in a comedy or musical series. However the Golden Globes delineates that, but it's The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Oh! Why was I watching
it's
that?
really, really good, because our parents were watching it around Christmas.
That's exactly right. That was quite good.
It is. It's super good. It's about a 50s housewife who her husband is like trying to become a stand-up comedian, and she's helping him, but he sucks. And this isn't
not
really
just as a
spoilers,
comedian, like as a person.
He's the fucking worst in general. Yeah. He leaves her in the first episode, and she decides, kind of by accident, to become a comedian because she's just got like a natural talent for it. She's really, really funny, and it's especially interesting because like as the season goes on, she also like becomes more of a feminist as she becomes more of a comedian too. Like because her parents' reaction when her husband leaves her is like, either you need to get him back, or like you can't tell anyone, and like you need a husband because you're a woman and who's going to protect you and care for you, and like because she's raised in the Upper West Side in this like rich snooty family, and she kind of realizes as the series goes on, like, I don't fucking need no man. This is some bullshit. It's actually it's pretty wild because like I don't think they really exaggerate that part of our society that much.
Well,
maybe
what's
they do. I don't know. I wasn't around in the
what
50s.
What time period does it take place in?
Late 50s.
Yeah.
Or like maybe it's early 60s. I don't know, but yeah, I don't think they exaggerate that much, and it's like really wild to watch them people just like talking about women like that to like her parents like talking to her like knowing that she's a smart and capable person because like they've been with she grew up with them obviously, but it's like just because she's a woman she needs to have a man with her. Mm-hmm. And she's like, fuck no I don't. Mm-hmm. I'm funny and I'm gonna get a job in a department store and do my own shit and support myself and my 2 kids.
Heck yes.
Yeah, it's really, and it's Alex Borstein's in it too. From she was on Mad TV and she voices she voices what's her name, Lois on Family Guy too. Oh, yeah. She's very funny in it. She's really good. She's like
her like comedy friend, right? Comedy buddy.
Yeah, she's her manager.
Manager, that's what they're called.
Yeah, and Tony Shalhoub plays her dad too. Oh. He's also very good in it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Did you ever watch Monk?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. You didn't watch Monk, Aaron?
Nope.
He was pretty good in Monk.
Yeah, he was.
I saw I've seen a few episodes. Not, I haven't watched the whole thing through in order, but I was really enjoying what I saw, so I'll definitely revisit that.
I highly recommend, and I think, from what I was reading online, because I want to know when the second season's coming out. It's only 1 season out right now. Amazon like gave them a multi-season deal before the first episode ever aired, which is cool and also apparently pretty rare for that to happen.
Wow.
So I don't know if they were just like really impressed with the pilot or something, but I mean the pilot's really good and the whole season's really good, so I understand it and I'm really excited for the second season.
I think it's what's one thing that's interesting to me about it is that like I've seen a lot of, well, not a lot, but like you've seen shows that are like set in the 50s before and like that sort of time period, and I've seen shows about comedians trying to make it in the comedy world, but I've never seen the two things combined. And I will also say I rarely enjoy
shows that are like about comedians trying to break into the comedy world because it's often just like
kind of self-indulgent
watching. Yeah, and it's also a lot of watching people bomb, which is so hard to like, and that happens a couple times in Mrs. Maisel, obviously, because like it has to, because that's part of the process of becoming a comedian is you like have to bomb a bunch.
But it's not just about that.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like they're fucking. Can we talk about Amazon for a second too? And this whole like opening a second headquarters thing.
Yeah,
but I like, it's so fucking weird. It's this like weird, there, so many cities are like trying to woo them in so many weird fucking ways. Like I think it was Chicago it was some city who said they would agree to this thing where like a portion of the income tax paid by the employees at this headquarters that would normally go to the city, they would give back to Amazon if they agreed to open their headquarters there. So the employees would literally like be paying taxes to their employer. And like a bunch of weird shit like that, like, and letting them have just like huge control over huge sections of the city if they agree to come. And it's like, I really hope Boston was on the short list too, and I almost hope they don't come here because like they're getting real fucking big.
Yeah. Going way back to when we were talking about stand-up comedy, I actually have been enjoying Crashing on HBO Go or Now or both.
I started watching that a few months ago and I couldn't
because of all the
bombing.
All the bombing.
Yeah, and just and the whole sad life.
Yeah, that's real. That really happened to him.
I know. It's like, but I knew that going into that was like part of why it made it so upsetting.
Yeah. What I think is interesting about that show is that. So, Aaron, do you know the premise of this show?
Is it about stand-up comedy?
Yeah, it's about this guy named Pete Holmes. It's the true story of how he broke into comedy, which is he was living in like the suburbs of New York City, like basically upstate New York, I guess. And he, with his wife, and he was like they'd both been religious for a long time, and they got married or very young, and then he had this dream of comedy, and she was a teacher, so he would go into the city like, you know, a few nights a week and do like stand-up shows, but he was kind of resting on his laurels a little bit, and he wasn't really working.
He would like be doing open mic nights too, so wasn't getting paid.
Right, exactly. I meant to say open mics. And one day, she just like, he came home from someplace early, and she was just like there with another man.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and so like he basically like left the house and went like and started sleeping on other comedians' couches in New York City, and by doing that he sort of like discovered this whole new life for himself of like comedy. Now he lives out in LA. He's very successful, obviously. He has a TV show based on a story. He had before that a really popular podcast. I think he probably still has it, called You Made It Weird. He was an interesting person. But the story is like, the show is about like his early life and like it falling apart, and that like teaching him how to be a comedian, like an actual full-time, like making a living type of comedian.
Yeah.
But what I find interesting about it is that, besides Sarah Silverman, none of the comedians that he crashes at in their homes and goes to them for help, like they all are like very willing to like hang out with him and like sort of willing to give him a place to sleep, but none of them actually help him. Like they're all assholes.
Oh, no.
They're like they'll give him advice, but like it's either it's not great advice, or while they're giving it they're like, why are you listening to me, like I'm a fucking cokehead, like, you know, and then like also like they do things to make things actively worse. Like one time, like Pete is with another comedian, and Artie Lang, sure, okay, great. So Pete and Artie Lang are getting mugged by a guy with a knife on the subway, and the guy with the knife goes to stab Artie Lang, and Pete kicks the guy with the knife, and then Artie Lang screams "run" and starts running away. And Pete stays there and tries to fight the guy, and ends up not only getting cut, but giving this guy all of his remaining stuff, of which he has very little, because most of his stuff is still at his house that he can't go back to. Like, and that sort of shit just keeps happening. Like, at one point, he brings another comedian to his house while his wife is having a yard sale where they're selling all of his stuff, and he ends up, like, burning all of it in front of their house on the street, because of a convoluted series of conversations. Like, they're just, like, they're not portrayed as, like, good, helpful people, for the most part. Except for Sarah Silverman, who's, like, an angel. So, I'm very late to this obsession party. But I've been playing Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Really?
Yeah.
You've been playing it, not just watching Ian play it?
No, I've been playing it. No, as we've discussed, I'm the original Twitch, and I really like to watch people play video games. But I was
She was
like,
twitching before it was cool.
Yeah, exactly. but I don't know what happened. I feel like I've been wanting to utilize our Switch more, because Ian keeps downloading games. Like, I just watched him play through Oxenfree a couple of times, which is this really creepy game about like a haunted island, but the art style is like really interesting, and it's like, I don't know, there's some really interesting construction things they do with it, and it was really fun to watch. But I knew I didn't want to play it, but like I had this hankering to play something, and I've watched several people play Breath of the Wild, and I have not found it that fun to watch, but I was like, well, whatever, like I'll try to play it and see like if it's any more fun to play than it is to watch. It's just like, I think open world games in general, like part of what is interesting to me in most cases about watching video games is like watching the storyline unfold, and so, you know, if someone were playing Breath of the Wild and they were like following the like main storyline the whole time, then I might find it interesting to watch, but that's not how most people play it, and nobody should have to play it that way.
Just because you're watching.
Just because I'm watching, exactly. Unless they're doing like a speed run, which might be fun to watch, actually. I wonder if that exists.
I was just about to tell you, actually, that about a speedrun of all main quests that... Never, keep talking, I'll tell you about it after. Not after the podcast, but like when you finish talking about Breath of the Wild.
I started playing it, and I like pretty much immediately was like, yes, this is absolutely very fun. And Ian immediately was like very excited that I was playing it. And he has been getting as much enjoyment. He's been getting a lot more enjoyment actually out of watching me play it than I ever got out of watching him play this particular game. He's like loving. Oh, he's been like, it's been really nice because like some, you know, we only have one good computer and we only have one Switch, and then we also have the TV, and you know, a lot of times we want to play the Switch on TV. So like a lot of times we're like negotiating over who gets to do what when, like you know, like last week we had to move our recording schedule because he needed this computer for a D&D game or whatever. So like that kind of stuff. But this past week it's been like, I'm like the minute that I'm thinking like, oh, I'd really like to maybe play Zelda right now, he's like, are you gonna play Zelda tonight? And I'm like, this is so good. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of it. I just beat the first Divine Beast, my first Divine Beast.
Which one did you do first?
I did Varuta, which is the elephant.
You, Mom, Lucas, and Kylie all did that one first.
Interesting.
I did Vaberto, is what I call the bird one, even though it's not what it's actually
Vaberto?
called. Vaberto, yeah. I think it's actually called Vamedo, maybe? I don't know. It's Vaberto.
I've been... Aaron, do you know anything about the main storyline of Zelda? So, basically, Link, who's the main character of all the Zelda games, he wakes up and it's and he has like lost his memory completely, and you learn pretty quickly that like he's been asleep for 100 years. And 100 years ago there was this big calamity, and so now like a lot of the people he used to know, they're like either really old or they're like ghosts and stuff.
Oh wow.
But not in like a creepy way, they're more like spirits. And he's got like this destiny to fulfill that he kind of has to discover along with his memories and things. And the main thing that you're trying to do eventually is go to the castle, which is like currently like basically overtaken by this evil, you know, main baddie, and kill that guy. He's called Calamity Ganon, and Ganon is the bad guy in all the Zelda games. In order to help you do that, you can, he's kind of taken over these like things that they call divine beasts, and there are 4 of them, and you can go in and like kill like these little mini bosses and take them back from him, and then you're able to use like all their special powers that they have to help you defeat him in the end. Or if you just really don't want to bother with all that because it's a totally open world, you can just like go straight to the castle and try to beat him anyway, but then you have to fight all of those mini bosses that you would have had to fight at all these different places, all there at the castle, and then beat the main guy, and also you have nobody to help you, whereas normally you would have all these extra powers and like extra like, you know, beasts helping you. So it's like, but it's cool because you can play it however you want to, and you can make it your own, and like they're very, very, the physics of it is all like relatively realistic. So like if you really are just not in the mood to fight something, and the path that you're walking there's like something that is going to want to fight you, you can like kind of run around a corner and climb a wall, and there's like a decent chance that you can avoid it if you really want to. Yeah. I've been playing like a Hufflepuff. I've been like really pretty conflict averse. Like actually the first Divine Beast, I had to do a bunch of screaming at Ian, and I had to die twice and prove that I was not dying on purpose, and then Ian allowed me to hand the controllers over to him, and he actually beat the like mini boss in that game.
Why did you scream at Ian twice?
Well, it was like, Ian, you know, like that kind of like, and then like I do
You're taking after
Yeah,
Mom.
I do that. I was just about to say, like, when like I think this is like textbook Mom. Like, I think I've seen her do this. When I get freaked out and I try to run away, instead I end up sneaking, because like I'll
Oh yeah, I do that too.
well, like so the way that you sneak is like you push down on the button that usually makes you move.
Oh.
And you'll continue, if you do that once, you'll continue to sneak until you push down on it again. So, and obviously sneaking makes you go slower, and like when you're freaked out, you just push it. I just always just push it down the wrong way, and then I'm just like screaming.
Kylie and I both do that all the time.
I'm screaming and I'm crawling.
And we're crouching now. We're fucking crouching. What's going on?
So things that I like, sneaking in the right context. Open world. I like the things I always call temples, but they're actually called shrines, but only the puzzle ones. There's a lot of fun puzzles all over the place. I like that you can make friends with dogs. Things that I don't like.
I like the horse thing too.
Fighting and cooking.
You don't like cooking?
Well, what I don't...
Actually, I don't really like cooking that
I
much either.
I like having cooked dishes on me, but I don't like the fact that you can so easily waste ingredients, because you're like, oh, I wonder what this dish will make, and you put in like a thing that's supposed to add to your stamina and a thing that's supposed to add to your stealth and just a random seasoning, and then it's like, oh, you got this random seasoning thing that's worth 1 heart because it just like
You can
analyzed it wrong.
you can't ever mix effects.
Ben, I don't want to hear about it, okay? I should be able to do that. Why is it that I can
I'm so
climb
sorry.
up...
I did not decide.
Why is it that I
I'm
can
just
climb up
telling you.
sheer rock faces wherever I want? I can climb any wall in the whole game, but I can't get a potion that lightly helps me with stamina and lightly helps me with stealth. That's fucked up.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
You know what? I actually don't like cooking either, and the only thing that I really ever cook is if ingredients that are called hardy, whatever, like hardy radish or hardy truffle, then they give you full recovery and overfill your hearts. So I always just like whatever I pretty much only cook with those. So I have a bunch of meals that like overfill my hearts whenever I need to
That's
heal.
smart. You
Thanks.
smart. So yeah, I'm gonna watch that. So tell me about the speed run real quick.
So last week there was this big event called AGDQ, which stands for Awesome Games Done Quick. It's a 24-hour, 7-day speedrunning marathon for charity. And they ended up raising like $2.2 million
Nice.
for the Prevent Cancer
Wow.
Foundation, which is pretty nuts. And the like finale of it, the closing speedrun, was an all main quest speedrun of Breath of the Wild. And it was really, I watched the whole thing. It's like almost 4 hours. But it's really fun to watch them do all the fucking main quests of that game in only 4 hours, and how they move around and like get across the map so quickly is wild. And it's like it's really, really cool. I would highly recommend it.
That sounds cool. I think that's another thing that's really fun about that game, actually, is navigating, because one thing that happens, Aaron, is that you don't when you go into a new area, you don't have a map of it immediately available to you. But if you can get up high and look around and see what's around, you have this like glider thing that you get right at the beginning. So if you can spot a place that you want to go to, as long as it's not so far away that you like run out of stamina, you can just like fly to there. Just like,
I think the glider is like the best mechanic
it's so cool.
ever. It's
Yeah.
so fun.
And it's just fun.
That's
It's
cool.
fun to get around.
Sounds fun.
Kylie just recently got into that game too. She started it like during the semester when we bought it last in like the fall, but she wasn't that into it at first, and then during this vacation she like decided to get back into it, and she's been really loving it. So like we have to like take turns playing it because we both want to play it all the time. But it's such a good game. It's definitely, I think it's the best Zelda for sure that I've played, and I've played most of them.
I would agree.
And I think it's one of the best games I've ever played, honestly.
It's so good. I wasn't fully understanding why people were like putting it at the top of all the best games lists for 2017, but I'm really starting to genuinely understand it. I'm not qualified to make any kind of list like that, but but I do agree that it's an excellent game.
I love Nintendo. They put so much care into every single thing they put out. Like, it's a real testament to how good this game is that it was pretty much the only game, really full long game that came out when the Switch came out. And the Switch sales have been really good, like, from the beginning because of this game, pretty much. And then Super Mario Odyssey came out in October to help also, but, like, even before Odyssey came out, the sales were really good, and it was pretty much only because of Breath of the Wild. I think that's a testament to that game.
It's very
also,
fun.
the Switch as a console is amazing.
So fun. There's no big problems with it, and you can just, like, it's exactly the way that I aim to live my life. It's the same thing I was talking about before, how I knew I was a Hufflepuff. Like, you can just live your life the way that you want to live your life.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's great. It's so good. Cool. We have a couple of quick listener emails.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
Ooh.
Okay. This one is from Liz, our mother. Some of our mothers.
Liz.
Congratulations. Listening to Ben talk about spices for breads. Wanted to tell him two things. One, the congratulations was because of episode 20, because we were excited. And how fitting in episode 21 that two of us got drunk on gin.
Yeah.
One, when you find the fresh spice, mint, basil, whatever, you can stick it in water to keep it around. I actually used those rooting vases in our bay window for this. He even broke one.
I don't remember that.
Well,
I deny that it's true.
Also, we have fresh mint growing outside, and it's tough stuff. Still there, even though we've had a deep freeze. Grab some when you're here. Thanks, Aaron. I've been inspired to start a sourdough starter due to listening.
Right.
Last but not least, last but not least, how cool would it be to go to a bar in Falmouth and hear your favorite voice actor talking? So weird to think about since we're all so focused on seeing famous people, not hearing them. That is all. Liz/Aunt Brown.
I'm glad she's finally addressing that head on.
I have to say that I would definitely know. It, like, I feel like as soon as I walked into a bar, I would know that John Benjamin was in there, basically. As long as he was, like, talking, I would know.
You mean, like, I thought you meant, like, you'd sense him somehow.
No. But I think
oh, yeah, he's got such a distinctive voice.
Okay, and then here's a quick one from our friend and formerly shouted out cousin, Rachel. Aaron, okay, maybe your new pants pocket is proof that we are now living in an alternate universe, but what if instead someone did something to your real maroon pants and then swapped them out with a decoy, like that unfortunate situation in the movie Meet the Parents, where Ben Stiller's character paints the decoy cat? What if those aren't your real favorite pants?
Oh my god.
And then there's, like, 3, like, Home Alone face emojis.
That's such a good point.
It's a great point. So you should probably confront Molly about that. Okay, well, thanks everybody for listening. Oh, we gotta do homework.
You're just fucking signing off.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, well, I'll save it. So let's all do our homework. Aaron, what's your homework? Okay, go Ben.
My homework is to watch.
What is that?
My homework, ding.
That was our
Is
new
to
outro,
watch.
Obviously. That's what we're going to be doing from now on.
Watch The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
And your Twitter.
It's really good. Even though Amazon canceled One Mississippi, the
Fuck
fucks.
them.
And they're making cities beg for their presents. Anyway, my Twitter is any Disco Greg. And actually, funny story about that. I've been saying for like many episodes that I want to change it because I want the handle of just Disco Greg.
Yeah.
But I recently like looked up that handle to see if it was like maybe I knew it was in use, but I was wondering if maybe it was like an idle account that hasn't been used in a long time. The person's active, and they're active in liking almost every single one of Trump's tweets and like James Woods pro-Trump tweets. So not only do I not have that handle? But right now it belongs to a Trump supporter, and I feel like I should be able to tell Twitter support that, and they give it to me instead.
I mean, I don't know that it works that way, but you know.
We'll find out. We'll see.
Do your best. Okay. Well, my homework is play Breath of the Wild. I feel like that's been the homework before, but like it's quite good. Just do it. My Twitter is Anthropology, like anthropology, the study of people, with an H at the beginning of it. And also I'd like to cross promote my other venture, which is another ear snack called So Dreamy, which is also part of our Pod Friends network that we're building slowly but surely, where we talk about dreams. Our buddy Rachel and we get submissions of people's dream recordings. Erin has sent us several.
Shout out to Rachel.
And yep, shout out to Rachel. And we listen to them and we talk about them and we like do a little bit more research than we do on this ear snack, and it's really fun.
Are you talking shit about the ear snack you're on right now?
It's just different. That's all. Okay, so yeah, thanks. Oh, and also, so sorry, I just did another false ending. Our ear snack Twitter is at 2broadpod, TOO broadpod. And if you want to email us and tell me to get my shit together, then our email is waytoobroad@gmail.com. And yeah, and if you had fun today, then please consider leaving us a review on iTunes. We certainly do appreciate those.
You sound like fucking like a flight attendant.
And if you enjoyed your podcast today, please consider leaving us a review on iTunes.
Thanks for flying Southwest. We certainly appreciate it. 2 out of 2 of your co-hosts think you sound exactly like a flight attendant.
All right, the podcast candle is extinguished.
Bye.
Bye. There it goes. Oh, Dad just sent us a picture. They finally mounted the TV on the wall.
Hey.
Oh, you did?
He must have thrown away all those family photos. They were talking about throwing them out the window for a long time.
I still think that was a weird decision to put it all the way over there, honestly.
It makes it look smaller.
Yeah, it does. And also, like, it's just kind of hard to see from the couch.
You are.
That is so fucking rude.
Ben's so tall, he's not hard to see at all.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Henry is probably going to bark in this episode because Molly, of course, is working, and we'll be
Molly,
home. We'll be
Molly
home.
works too hard.
I know, she'll be home at some point. She does not work too hard. It snowed a bunch on Wednesday, and when the museum closes, since there are so many employees who can't work from home, everybody just gets the day off paid, and so she got Wednesday and Thursday and half of today off.
Oh my god.
And paid. Like, she just was off. So,
Wow.
she worked very hard, but not this week. and she had Monday off for Martin Luther King Day. I didn't have any of these days off. Not any of them. I worked all of them.
Wait, even when you got like a foot of snow, you didn't have the day off?
No, I had to work from
Because
home.
she can work from home.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Me going to the office is like sitting in front of a computer working on the internet all day. Like, barely talking to anyone, so it's like the same when I work from home.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
I was born ready.
That's not true, Ben. I knew you when you were born.
I was ready. You remember,
didn't
I
know
was
it.
ready.
You didn't keenly pick up on that.
Excuse me, I was 7 wise years old.
You were so keen.
Okay.
7 wise.
Is that like Pennywise?
Yes. Okay, ready?
I was thinking like Samwise.